Hey pilots, this is Zentember here. I'm going to give you a machine balance analysis for the 1.3.0 patch. We are here at the ZLab 99, so I hope you're going to join us for some exciting talk about this patch. So let's without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so all machines have reduced damage when they collide with barriers or other machines. Second thing they changed is that boost can no longer be used continuously without power. So dry boosting is gone now, and smoking machines are more vulnerable than they have ever been. So this is the cool thing about these changes. Nintendo wants us to cut through rails with less penalty. It's going to create hype rail riding scenarios for big time savings. And Nintendo wants us to finish more races. They don't want to see herds of smoking machines at lap 4 before the finish line. Even though brutality is canonical to this series, if you read the F-Zero SNES manual, they want more people to be happy and finish races. So, and what else doesn't Nintendo want? Nintendo wants reduced chip in herds. So if you're in a herd, you're in a big conglomerate of other machines, and you're getting sort of chipped away by other machines, but you're not going to feel it as much because of these changes. What else is happening? Nintendo wants us to use the back bump resource more. So every time you get a back bump, you get a little bit of chip, but now that chip damage is reduced, you can take back bumps and be a little more confident about it. Nintendo is going to penalize poor energy management or poor driving. Still, that hasn't changed. And if you overuse your energy meter, or if you don't look at your energy meter, you're going to get punished. That's totally fine. We're going to see less player KOs, and these overall buffs have buffed non-Goose machines, since Goose is a damage dealer, and Gooses originally want to harass and threaten other machines with chip and spins, but now that interaction damage has been reduced, Goose's efficacy to harass other machines has been reduced. So non-Goose machines have gotten the buff as a consequence. Alright, Blue Falcon, the moment you've all been waiting for. Blue Falcon has slightly increased max speed when using boost, and the max speed obtained when touching a dash plate has been slightly increased. So what does this mean? First, I think it's a justified buff, since the boost cost is high for Falcon, in my opinion. So now that boost speed is a little bit faster, you're gonna see Falcons sort of get pushed along forward a little tiny bit now, and that's gonna be competitive. Tracks with dash plates favor Falcon now. That's great. And you're gonna see Falcons have more front running potential, and they can threaten first or second place while behind. So imagine Falcons in third place. You're a Falcon in third place, and there's machines in front of you. You're gonna get behind them really quickly, and that can cause them to panic, or it can cause them to use their back bumps against you. So there's a 50-50 there. Falcons moving forward more during boost is going to provide more back bumps in the back bump economy. So use your minimap and scout them out. Get your back bumps from Falcons now. Nintendo may have observed a low win rate or low use rate for Falcon and did these buffs as a result, which is fair. Golden Fox, another moment you might have been waiting for, depending on who you main, but the Fox has now a slightly reduced max speed when power is reduced, which I assume is the power down state. So the Fox is a target now at power down state and cannot be chased during a dry boost period. Second one is there's a slightly increased cost for boosting. So that's going to change boosting patterns. Alright, so what are the consequences of these changes? If you see a smoking fox, you can KO it much faster, much easier. It won't run away. They do have one dry boost for every 6 seconds, I believe. So that's their only defense, as well as escaping to the pit or slowing down completely. The foxes are going to be punished if they manage their energy poorly, which has always been the case, but even more so now. The original boost patterns may have been compromised, so new boost patterns are needed, which means the fox is still viable, but you need to get rid of your old muscle memory and find new boost patterns. Fox is still a target against Goose, so Goose can still threaten foxes. The fox is still powerful, but needs smart drivers. Alright, Goose has more attack capabilities now, with a decreased cooldown period after spin attacks. Secondly, the max speed obtained when touching a dash plate has been slightly increased. That's great. So, what are the consequences of spin cooldown being shorter and having spin more often? Well, Gooses can now attack other players more frequently, and as you read or listened to earlier, since machine damage interaction is decreased but Goose spinning frequency is now increased, that sort of cancels each other out, so you want geese to pretty much be using their spin on deck as much as possible to damage other players or shove them into walls or obstacles. Or like in basketball, you can set a pick and shove them into objects. So spin can also help geese get more back bumps. So spinning has a extended hitbox mechanic where if someone is behind you but they're kind of far away, you can spin and the rear part of your vehicle kind of gets extended, and then you can back bump them when you normally wouldn't back bump them without the spin. Keep in mind, though, that spin also has a pass-through mechanic where spinning can pass you through other players and you will not receive back bumps. So there's a 50-50 mechanic there, use it wisely. Lastly, spin can reduce damage against reds and grays more frequently now. So if you're a goose and you're about to collide into a red or a gray, you must spin, otherwise you're underperforming and you'll incur the energy loss. Next we have Fire Stingray. So what's changed with Fire Stingray? They slightly reduced the amount of power required for boost. The value is about like a 2% change or like a 1 point change in the raw data, I believe. And it's a pretty marginal change. It's almost not noticeable. If you're curious about observing this change, then go to a practice track and hold down brake and then start boosting. You'll see the energy meter drain and you won't move. And you can compare that to how it was pre-patch just by using your memory. But it's not too different. But largely, since the Fire Stingray drives a certain way, which is driving max speed at 478 kph, they're not boosting that often to begin with. So excellent driving is still rewarded, and then you're only going to boost in situations where you're going to make up for errors or cover speed loss after cornering, or advancing placement right before the finish line. So Stingrays will reap the benefits of this, but it's small. Alright, conclusion. So how does this affect the meta? Let's go right to it. Goose players might switch to Falcon for the speed benefit, but Falcon can be pushed around more, and they're gonna notice that. Goose and Fox have a mechanic where they can play by themselves, where Goose can't get shoved around much and Fox front runs, resulting in more precise driving for both. So I think Goose mains Goose mains love not being shoved around because they can play their game. So that might be enough for Gooses to not switch to Falcon. But Goose mains who think that the speed benefits, the speed buffs are worth it, will switch to Falcon. Secondly, foxes who like to front run, and they like that element of playing by themselves. If they don't like the fox nerfs, they can switch to Goose, and we've seen that already. Okay, moving on. Fox mains might switch to Falcon even for the speed benefits, or stay as foxes and learn new boost patterns for all tracks. So here's the exciting thing about being a fox now. You have some nerfs, but there's still different boost patterns to be learned. So once you learn the new boost patterns, you can gain the benefits of those boost patterns and win matches, win lobbies. So is all hope lost for foxes? Absolutely not. You just have to abandon certain parts of your muscle memory and find new ones, and that's exciting because there's a lot of tracks. There's 18 tracks plus the mirror tracks. So each track has dozens of decisions to make for cornering. Anyways, moving on. Since Mirror Knight has more dash plates than Knight, the patch buffs will be more obvious for that league. So GP weekend is almost here, so enjoy that while it lasts. And so if you're curious about how much Falcon did get boosted, turn on your Falcon Ghost, go to Firefield, and use the straightaway. You're gonna see that the Ghost is going to lag behind when you boost in the beginning. All right. So next, the back bump meta is going to change a little bit because Falcon's tailgating you can potentially back bump you more, creating a back bump strategy. So if you know Falcons are on your mini map, you line your machine with to them, and you can get benefits from Falcon buffs even though you're not a Falcon main. That's pretty cool. Alright, lastly, without dry boost, all gameplay may become more conservative on lap 4 to avoid power down state. So if there's some red patterns that are really bad, front runners can slow down and let other players get hit by them and then take a high placement. So overall, we need we need the Skyway, we need back bumps, and we need gameplay to be a little bit more conservative now that player KOs are going to be decreased from decreased machine interaction damage and decreased rail damage. But yeah, that pretty much covers everything. I hope that we have more hype moments and we have new players. The new players get retained by the changes, and that they feel that they can perform really well in any lobby. And with that, I'm signing off, and I'll see you on the racetrack.